The movie begins with a girl named Jenn who has washed up on the shore of a deserted island after being out at sea. Alongside her is her friend, Brad, who has also been washed ashore. Jenn checks on him, but he's badly hurt and, sadly, he dies soon after. This leaves Jenn heartbroken. After a while, Jenn leaves Brad's body there and starts to explore the island. She quickly realizes that there's no one else around, the island is completely deserted, and she is all alone. As she explores deeper into the island, she stumbles upon a bag lying around. Inside, she finds a woman's purse and some children's belongings. While looking through the bag, Jenn finds a medicine bottle dated 1994. This makes her think that someone might have been on this island many years ago. She also finds a matchbox which she decides to keep and then heads back to the shore. On the beach, she spots a large hollow tree lying on the ground. Jenn gets the idea that it could be a safe place to sleep at night. That night, Jenn spends her first night on the island. In the morning, she wakes up to see many fish washed up on the shore. Among them is a small shark, but half of its body has been eaten. She gathers a few fish to eat and then notices a spot nearby with 3 graves. Thinking about her friend Brad, whose body is now beginning to decay, Jenn decides to make a grave for him as well. The next day, while exploring, Jenn returns to Brad's grave and is horrified to see that his body has been disturbed. It's been dug up and half eaten. She is shocked and confused, wondering who could have done this. She guesses it must have been some wild animal living on the island, so she finds a sturdy piece of wood to protect herself. Jenn crafts a weapon for herself from the wood and sits near the shore, waiting for the animal to appear. Night falls, and Jenn starts to feel sleepy, but nothing shows up. The next morning, she opens her eyes and sees a suitcase floating in the water. Curious, she goes to retrieve it. While wading in the water, she feels something beneath her and discovers a large hole, which surprises her. Back on shore, she opens the suitcase and finds shoes and clothes, which she puts on. As night falls, Jenn starts going through the items in the suitcase and finds some old family photos. From the pictures, she figures out that a couple with 2 children had once come to this island on vacation. Suddenly, Jenn hears a plane flying overhead. She quickly fires her flare gun, but it's too late, the plane has already passed by. As the flare falls back down, Jenn notices something strange in its light, a shadowy creature. Terrified, she runs back into the island and hides. The creature follows, searching for her, making Jenn even more afraid. She spends the whole night hiding in fear. When morning comes, Jenn returns to the shore, shaken but determined. While looking at the photos again, Jenn notices 2 glowing eyes in the background of one of them. She realizes it's the same creature she saw before and guesses it must have attacked and possibly killed the family. This discovery frightens her even more, and she becomes desperate to escape the island. Jenn then comes up with a new plan. She puts her life jacket in the suitcase, hoping she can use it to float away from the island. She climbs into the suitcase and tries to paddle out, but it flips over and she's forced to abandon her plan. Discouraged, she returns to the island, realizing she needs a safer place to hide from the creature. She remembers the large hollow tree she saw earlier. Since it has a deep hole, she decides to hide there for the night. As night falls, the creature reappears and quickly senses where Jenn is hiding. It tries to break into the tree to get to her, but after repeated attempts, it finally gives up and leaves. The next morning, Jenn comes out and sees the tree is badly damaged from the creature's attacks. This close call motivates her to come up with a new plan to protect herself and hopefully escape for good. Jenn catches some large fish from the sea and hangs them from a tree. Her plan is that when the creature comes at night, it will eat the fish instead of looking for her, giving her a chance to stay safe. The next morning, Jenn wakes up and sees that her plan worked. The creature had eaten the fish during the night, sparing her. Later, while walking along the shore, Jenn spots another body that has washed up. She approaches it and finds that the body is badly decomposed. This gives her an idea. She decides to hang the body from the same tree, hoping it will distract the creature again. Realizing that survival on the island is becoming harder, Jenn digs a small pit for herself nearby, planning to hide there when the creature returns. That night, as she waits in the pit, the creature arrives. Jenn catches her first clear look at it and is terrified. It's much scarier than she imagined. The creature approaches the tree, eats the body, and eventually leaves, giving Jenn another chance to stay hidden and safe. Jenn suddenly hears noises nearby, and as she glances over, she spots the creature's legs close by. Her heart races, but she manages to stay calm and remain hidden. The next morning, Jenn realizes she needs a safer place to hide. Since she had seen how tall the creature is, she comes up with a new plan. She builds a swing high up in a tree, hoping that being off the ground will keep her out of the creature's reach. Feeling somewhat safer, she climbs up and sits on the swing. As night falls, the creature returns, sensing that Jenn is nearby. It begins shaking the tree violently, trying to reach her. The swing breaks from the force and Jenn falls to the ground. The creature draws closer and Jenn is face to face with danger once again. The creature starts chasing Jenn and she runs as fast as she can to escape. She notices that the creature moves much faster in the water than on land, and before long, it blocks her path. Jenn clutches her wooden weapon tightly as the creature grabs her and throws her into the water. She manages to stay calm and swims back to shore. Once out of the water, she climbs up a tree to hide and waits for morning. When Jenn wakes up the next day, she finds her leg badly injured, so she heads to the sea to clean herself up. While bathing, she spots a raft in the distance with two people on board, her friends Lucas and Mia, who have somehow survived and made it to the island. Overjoyed, Jenn rushes to them and offers them some fish to eat. Jenn explains the danger of the creature and warns that they must leave the island as soon as possible, telling them she's been trapped here for 7 days. But Lucas and Mia don't believe her. They think she's exaggerating and insist that they've been lost at sea for 5 days before finally finding this island. They have no plans to leave. To convince them, Jenn shows them the photos where the creature's shadow is visible, but even then, Lucas and Mia brush it off, still not taking her seriously. Frustrated and worried, Jenn realizes they don't understand the true danger. Jane doesn't want to leave. She knows they won't listen to her, so she plans to hide and escape with their raft. She tries to take the raft and get away, but they catch her. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied up and it's already night. She asks Lucas to untie her, but he and Mia don't want to help. So Mian goes for a walk in the quiet area. Lucas stays with Jane. While Mian is walking, a creature suddenly comes out of the water and attacks her. Lucas hears the noise and runs to help, but the creature pulls Mia into the water and kills her. Lucas gets really scared and climbs a tree to hide. The next morning, Lucas still hasn't come down from the tree. He finally starts to understand what Jenn had been warning him about. Jenn arrives and tells him the creature only comes out at night, it's safe during the day. Hearing this, Lucas climbs down from the tree. Jenn tells Lucas they need to leave the island as soon as possible, and this time he agrees. They gather some fish and coconuts for food, packing everything they need for survival. As they prepare, Lucas looks anxious. Jenn reassures him, explaining the creature attacks only at night. By the time it gets dark, we'll be far away from this island. While they're getting ready, Jenn sits in the raft and notices blood smeared on it. Realization hits her. In the last 5 days, Lucas and Mia must have killed and eaten some of their fellow survivors to stay alive. This horrifying thought makes Jenn even more determined to escape. As soon as Jenn and Lucas set off in their raft, they suddenly spot the creature lurking in the water. Panic sets in as they realize it's surrounding them. They huddle together in the raft, trying to stay out of its reach. Suddenly, the creature lunges into their raft, attacking them. In a moment of desperation, Lucas fires his flare gun at the creature, but it grabs Jenn and drags her away. Jenn quickly pulls out a knife and fights back, stabbing the creature multiple times. Just then, Lucas jumps into the water to save Jenn. The creature, seeing Lucas, releases Jenn and captures him instead, dragging him into its lair. Realizing she can't save Lucas, Jenn swims back to the island, her heart racing with fear and frustration. Jenn is heartbroken over Lucas's death and decides to confront the creature that has caused so much pain. Determined to take action, she gathers pieces of sharp wood scattered around and starts crafting weapons. Realizing these weapons aren't sharp enough, she digs up the graves nearby, retrieving bones to make even sharper weapons. With a plan in mind, she decides to burn the creature. She collects dry bushes and arranges them into a pile, setting up a trap. As night falls, Jenn waits anxiously. The creature approaches the very spot where she has set her trap, unaware of the danger that awaits. Jenn lights the dry bushes on fire, hoping to trap the creature in the flames. As the fire spreads, she bravely attacks the creature with her sharp weapons, inflicting serious injuries. However, the creature manages to grab her. Jenn fights back fiercely and breaks free, running for her life. Despite its injuries, the creature lunges at her again, but it's too weak and falls to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Jenn stomps on it multiple times before finally cutting its throat. As the flames from her trap grow larger, they engulf the entire island. Jenn knows that such a big fire will surely attract attention and help will come. And with that, the movie comes to an end. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you in our next video. Till then, take care.